Your Imperial Highness, Hua Mulan.
It wasn't just the cast that made Disney's Mulan look so beautiful. The ever-popular Disney live-action remakes are loaded with some elaborate prosthetics, makeup, and costumes, and their 2020 rendition of Mulan is no exception. From the exceptional work of the hair and makeup team, as well as the gifted costume designers, here's what went into the fashion and prosthetics of Mulan.
Cannot eat, it will ruin your makeup.
The fiercest winter storm could not destroy this makeup.
One of the most unique scenes in the film, in terms of the makeup and hairstyling, was the betrothal scene. Denise Kum took inspiration from artwork from the Tang Dynasty, which involved a white panel on the top of a woman's forehead, as well as on the bridge of their nose. Kum took this historical style and also mixed in the use of yellow, as the color was very popular during the period, as it was believed to bring a certain aura to the forehead, and was even thought to bring good luck. Dark blue was used on the eyebrows, which was inspired by the feathers of a peacock, and lastly, red rouge was added. Because of all the thick layers of makeup, it was extremely hard for Liu Yifei, Rosalind Chow, Xana Tang, and Chung Peipei to make the facial expressions that were required for the scene.
This is my sad face. This is my curious face. I know I'm confused.
Gong Li's prosthetics had to be applied on her hands right before she was scheduled to be on set, as once they were applied, she would have limited to no use of her hands, which made her very uncomfortable after a while. Kum added that Li was especially patient during the lengthy process, which, along with the prosthetics and airbrushed makeup, also included the application of a long wig, a crown, and lashes.
You're a witch.
Am I? And who are you?
Nikki Caro told Denise Kum that she wanted the villainous Bori Khan along with his team to look tribal and nomadic, as well as ground-dwelling.
If gold is not enough, I will give you blood.
Actor Jason Scott Lee would sit for hours on end in the makeup chair, and would make a variety of different faces to allow Kum to apply the scars in all different sorts of areas where scars weren't nearly as common. Kum compared the process to applying facial tattoos.
Who will save you?
5 different types of the battle attire were designed for the various scenarios Mulan had to endure. One for the underwater scenes, another for riding horseback, and one for stunts.
They are all made out of different fabrics and different structures so that they can work for all her stunts.
Because of the multiple thick layers, it wasn't the easiest outfit to perform in, particularly because Liu Yifei would have to perform stunts underwater while wearing the armor, and it wasn't the most comfortable experience for the young actress.
It was for me really important that she could move in her armor and in all her costumes.
Initially, Denise Kum was supposed to apply Liu Yifei's makeup on screen during the betrothal scene, as a stand-in for Rosalind Chow, who plays Mulan's mother. Though the day the scene was filmed, Kum was working with Gong Li, which led to Georgia Lockhart Adams serving as the stand-in. Adams was actually deep into her pregnancy at the time of filming, so in order to keep her belly from showing up on camera, she had to stretch her arms out the furthest she could in order for her pregnant belly to remain hidden.
A girl.
A woman. A warrior.
Liu Yifei had to be put in multiple uncomfortable situations in order for the makeup to not be worn away by the stunts. Kum went on to say that Yifei had to execute a few in-camera effects with tricks using a fishing line wire with different hair pieces, which enabled her to move in a particular way. Whether it was to tumble down, come unraveled, riding horseback, or in the tea scene where she is balancing precariously. One of the features that Kum had to focus on when distinguishing between Mulan's male look as well as her female look, Yifei's eyebrows were thinned out and less subtle when Mulan is disguised as a male, but also more enhanced to look more feminine. Liu Yifei would have to contour her face in different, awkward positions in order for the makeup artists to make her eyebrows look more like a man's.
It's my duty to fight.
If I were your son, you wouldn't have to.
Mulan was actually filmed in several different countries, including the US, China, and New Zealand. The film's production would deal with all different kinds of climates, from snow, wildfires, and extreme humidity. Wire work was even done to make Liu Yifei's hair look more natural, which wasn't the most cozy feeling. Kum stressed that hair is a fiber that does not react the same in all conditions. So you'd have to mitigate how to get the hair to look the same in all these different countries.
It works really well on screen.
Since she plays the title character, it shouldn't come as a surprise that Liu Yifei had the most designs on screen. One of the biggest challenges was applying the makeup for when Mulan is disguised as a man.
Need a hand, little man?
Several tests were done so Yifei could both look convincing as a male, but also appear as though she didn't have even a speck of makeup on her. Nature, nerves, and the action set pieces were another obstacle in consideration when designing the invisible makeup look. Kum claimed that silhouette and shape were key to differences between the male and female form.
He's a girl?
For Gong Li's villainous Xianniang makeup, Denise Kum applied a white central panel, which was inspired by rice powder, across the top half of actress Gong Li's face.
You have proved useful, witch.
Not witch, warrior.
White was used as not only was it seen as the color of mourning in Chinese culture, but was also viewed as one of the 5 elements standing for moral purity. During the Qin and Han dynasty, where a woman's morals were considered more important than physical beauty, and the color of white was seen as a symbol of power, the mask-like design had more theatrical origins, presenting something more mysterious and more like a disguise, as opposed to just using eyeshadow and makeup.
I was a girl like you when people turned on me.
Xianniang's costume was designed to look bird-like, especially since one of her most prominent powers is transforming into a hawk. The costume was designed to include silver scales, as well as excessively long sleeves, a chest plate, and an elaborate headdress. Her crown was actually inspired by the skull of a hawk.
Everything is just perfect for her.
Bina Diegler said that she wanted to give the character a costume that she could actually fight in and with, even using her sleeves as a weapon on their own.
I am the slave.
And you would do well to remember it.
While most of the prosthetic work was done with Jason Scott Lee and Gong Li's Bori Khan Xianniang, Denise Kum also applied more subtle prosthetics for the calmer characters as well. Subtle makeup and prosthetics were used for Tai Ma and Rosalind Chow for when their characters appear older. Kum subtly used both aging and de-aging makeup for both actors.
You were always there, yet I see you for the first time.
When makeup and hairstylist Denise Kum was first brought on board Mulan by director Nikki Caro, the titular heroine hadn't even been cast yet. In fact, she was brought on 2 years before filming had actually commenced, with the start of production being delayed because of how long it was taking to find the perfect actress to take on the role of Mulan.
Yifei is indeed the only one that could ever have played Mulan.
During this time, Kum did some lengthy research on the Ballad of Mulan, and its overall importance to China. By the time pre-production had begun, much of the research had already been completed.
I was looking at a lot of the old sculptures and the old scroll paintings.
Kum wanted to make sure that the makeup used in the film looked and felt authentic to the film's setting. Kum and her team had to look at what was available when airbrushing white to create a certain look. We had to experiment because you also have to find what will work with the skin, and how it will layer with other ideas, Kum said. She wanted the makeup used to look more like pigments or something out of nature, like a rice flour or as if it was grounded up from paste.
I'm truly blessed to be in the presence of such enchanting women.
Kum actually didn't use the 1998 animated film too much as a source. The only areas where Kum drew directly from the cartoon was the reflection scene, mainly because the hair comb is such an integral part to that scene.
Tranquil as a forest, but on fire within.
The hair and makeup crew, as well as the costume designers, had their work cut out for them when working on Mulan, but it paid off in the end. From the highly detailed costumes to the authentic use of makeup, the hard work in these areas certainly left an impact on the film.